Breaking out. This season is one that I tend to want to skip over. And we are talking about breaking out in the process of like caterpillar to butterfly life cycle. And as an example of seasons of change, we're highlighting 4, and breaking out is that 3rd season. You've been the caterpillar, you've gotten fat on all the information and the growth. You've been in the chrysalis, the goo, you have become cell soup. You have rebuilt yourself into something completely new. And now sounds like a very exciting stage. You get to break out of the chrysalis and you get to be the butterfly. And my mind goes, great, be the butterfly. As in, boom, look at me, baby. I'm sexy. I got wings. I know how to use them. And the reality is I have no idea how to use them. I don't. I have never been a butterfly in my life. I have been a fat, sassy caterpillar. And now I'm completely different. I have this massive temptation to be, oh, I'm a butterfly. I can fly. I got this. Yeah. Versus when we were looking at pictures of the breaking out stage, the butterflies don't come out looking sleek and svelte with their wings stretched out and beautiful. They come out looking like they broke something. You know, they're like, oh, crumpled, and this one's it's back here and it shouldn't be back here. And let's talk about that.
Yes. Well, and I love when you and I were chatting before, you kept commenting about how I just skip over this. And I said, yeah, that's actually one of the reasons why when I look at it, I'm like, I kind of want to. I like the symbolism of breaking out, right? But when I start digging into that being a season, it feels like, oh, you just break out. Oh, you just walk through the door.
Right.
And then I'm inside, I'm outside. I'm inside, I'm outside. But it's not that straightforward because the butterfly, just like you said, they're using muscles that have just grown. They're brand new. And it takes using those brand new muscles to push out of this thing that's now the safety that's protected them is now the thing that holds them back. So now they have to push
the safety of
that.
Like the chrysalis phase.
The cocoon, the chrysalis cocoon. Yeah, so the hard case that's held the cell soup,
right,
is now holding you back. So you have to push beyond that. So that's using those brand new muscles, which you've never used before because they didn't exist before. And you're pushing beyond that. And then, like you said, you're kind of plopping out and you're this wet, kind of sticky version of the new you. The wings don't work immediately. You can't just start flying. You have to walk around and slowly spread out those wings and stretch them out and let them air out.
Yeah.
And I think it's a season for me that when I think about it, I feel very self-conscious because here I was, the caterpillar, strutting my stuff. I was like, I'm going to eat that leaf, hanging out with everybody, hanging out with all the other caterpillars. Da, 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 da. And then I became cell soup, and it was kind of like hiding from everyone. Like, oh, don't ask me what's happening. Don't ask me what's going on in my life. No, I can't tell you my plan because I'm not really sure what this is going to look like. And then I'm now back out in front of people where they can really see me. Like they couldn't really see me when I was still soup, right? I was still kind of like, oh, a little vague. But now they can see me. And now I probably look like a hot mess. And now I'm walking around and they're like, you got wings. Why are you walking? Why are you walking around? And it's an incredibly short season. It's not very long. Right? It's not a very long season, but it's a critical season in order to begin flying. But it's one that can be awkward in its own way because you are testing things out. You're visible again to the world in a way that you weren't when you were inside the chrysalis. So you're kind of reintegrating with life all over again. And then you're preparing yourself for the new unknown. So when you're the caterpillar, it feels like everything's clear, straightforward. And then I find that when I'm cell soup, it feels like it's the unknown feels uncomfortable. And then the breaking out is, again, I'm leaving a space that was unknown and uncomfortable, but became comfortable because it became known. And now I'm entering another unknown. And just the fact that it's unknown makes it somewhat uncomfortable, even though it's this kind of exciting little tiny transition between cell soup and flying and having a whole new perspective on life is this little transition right there that it's like, oh, I got to use muscles that I just grew and they're new and I got to test them out a little bit and I got to dry off. And I think in our own lives, it's a season where we have to adapt very quickly because it's actually taking us to another season. And I mean, they're all going to another season, but this one is particularly fast, I feel like. So,
well, and I think it's particularly about transition. The other seasons are often about that season that you're in. I think the breaking out season is about going from this one to this one. And I don't know, the way that you and I have talked about it is when you're the caterpillar, you are the caterpillar. Part of what's key is knowing that you're in that season, or if you don't, having permission to embrace it. And in the goo phase, it's being present in it and allowing yourself to absorb the information and get comfortable with being uncomfortable. I think the breaking out is about that short transition between this really uncomfortable but transformative goo to you are reaping the benefit and the reward of all of the hard work you did before. And the breaking out is that brief, like, okay, I'm shaking off. I'm acknowledging that I'm moving forward now. I'm not staying in the goo. I like that you said, all of a sudden this place that was so uncomfortable has become kind of comfortable. I'm used to it. I know this. In here. Yeah, it's cozy. Why would I want to leave that? Because what if I can't fly? What if I get out and my right wing doesn't dry out properly? I mean, I think those fears can hold us back. And yet breaking out is that season of no, you get to break out. You get to leave those things behind. You get to bask in the sun, take a deep breath, let your wings dry, and then fly.
Yeah. When I think about it in terms of my humanity, it can be tempting to try and stay in a season that I've become familiar with. And yet, if I try to stay, I will cause myself to be deformed. And I won't ever have access to something that's so much bigger and greater. That I have this other, like, side thought, oh, well, who cares about things always being bigger and greater? And it's not doing it for performance or showing off sake. It's because that's what you're designed to do. We look at the butterfly and I think I would feel sad to see a butterfly. I do feel sad if I see a butterfly that isn't fully formed or that didn't quite make it.
Or a chrysalis that just kind of got stuck in that stage.
Yeah, I feel sad because I'm like, it never reached part of what it was designed to do. And so this stage is so critical because without it, you really can't begin flying. And I think it can be a very short season. And it's one that I don't know that we, in our own lives, necessarily spend a whole lot of time thinking about or focusing on. Just like you kept saying, just kind of skip right over it. And I wonder what parts of our lives we're tempted to skip over. And I know you wrote a blog post actually a year ago about the snapshots in between and just noticing these moments in between. Like, not every moment is the high moment. Not every moment is reaching the top of the mountain. There is this moment that is the stretching, the preparing for something new in a new way and using new muscles. And it makes me think about my own learning. So here, I've learned all these things. I've gone through the chrysalis stage. I've been cell soup. And there's this kind of integrating the things I've been learning in new ways. So if you'd asked the caterpillar me if I would think and say the things that I think and say here, I wouldn't have. I wouldn't have even thought that I would be doing that. So it's kind of like an almost integration of all these previous things that then allows us the freedom to go fly and to move freely on the air currents.
One of the things that I realize is it is a push and a pause. You are pushing so that the sense of being familiar in the chrysalis, that you're willing to let go of the sense of the familiarity that you have. You're pushing out of that familiarity and that comfort that you've established in the chrysalis phase. And then you're pausing. So you push to get out of the chrysalis, but then you don't just jump into flight. You get to pause. You get to,
I like that.
Okay, I have done the work to get here. And before I take flight, I'm going to pause. And appreciate and marvel, and I'm going to stretch. I'm going to feel this new me before the new me launches, and I get to just be present in the freedom and the joy of flight.
Yeah.
So the breaking out for me is those two things. It's I'm going to push to get out of the familiar comfort that I may have gotten into with the chrysalis season, and then I'm going to pause. And like you said, it's short. So I think that push pause becomes important to go, okay, I'm going to push through. And I think you have to be intentional about that. The way you've described it, I'm like, yeah, I have to be intentional, not to just, no, I'm pretty happy right here. I'm going to be complacent in my goose stage.
Right.
Pushing through that and then giving yourself permission. I'm going to pause. I'm going to stretch. I'm going to bask in the sun. I'm going to feel the wind currents. Then I'm going to fly. So that push pause, it's short, but it's important. Push through, pause and breathe, appreciate. Then you transition into that butterfly stage.
I love that, especially because we often talk about the importance of taking a pause. So it's the push from the comfort zone and the familiar into the unfamiliar, which can be a little uncomfortable. But then it's also pausing and letting yourself just be. Just let yourself be, because you're about to start flying. Like you're about to launch into that. So embracing that pause. I love that analogy, Rebecca, just the push and then the pause. And how many times do we do things in life where we push for something and then we need a break?
Yeah.
We need a break. We need to take a little break and take a little breather before we keep going, because it helps us realign with ourselves. And I think that's absolutely part of what's happening is you have this brand new body, you have this new stuff, and you're realigning with yourself in that moment, and just realigning in that pause with like, okay, I've pushed beyond this. I'm out here. Okay. I'm getting ready for something else, but I don't have to rush right into it. I don't have to fly immediately.
Yeah.
So,
love it.
Well, thank you, everyone. We love being here with you. And as always, we invite you to continue to live fully present, to create meaningful change in your life. We're here with you. We're for you. We support you.
Thanks, guys.